There we are. Ship's logs. 1883. Yes.
This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
Peter Carey, master.
This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
Yes, it is. Very good.
Log notes for June. Nothing unusual.
Light and variable wind. Yes.
Log notes for July. Nothing special.
Light wind, strong breeze, moderate wind.
Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away.
Last note, August 6th. Squally wind from northeast. Helmsman suspects incoming storm. Latitude 7210 and longitude 2386.
Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR, a torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
Indeed. Very well then. While we're here, let's try out Peter Carey's boots. Plop.
These boots don't match the footprints.
These footprints look like a 9, or perhaps a 9.5 or something. Interesting. Perhaps Mrs. Carey would care to explain? Mrs. Carey, I have some questions for you. Well, let's start with this.
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
I see. And what about his private papers?
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Thank you, madam.
Huh. Aha, there we
I
are.
wonder if these are connected.
Let's see here. CPR 853237112568.
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
Indeed. Hello again, Mr. Nelligan.
Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, what exactly were you hoping to find inside Peter Carey's cabin?
I was trying to find some information about my father.
Is that so? So you weren't trying to find any bond certificates?
I assume you had another purpose, to retrieve the bond certificates. Am I correct?
Yes. I discovered some time ago that a few of the missing securities had reappeared on the London market. You can imagine my amazement. I spent months trying to find them, and at last I discovered that the original seller had been Captain Peter Carey. These papers...
So you killed him
belonged to
and
my
took his
family,
papers?
but I could not find them there.
Oh.
Well, I will see you soon, young man. Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only
Indeed.
to find them. Let us hope they are still working at the harbour.
I think that if
Yes.
you pretend you're from Scotland Yard...
I doubt it, Watson.
No.
And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have
Yes.
another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang.
Yes.
Of course.
Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives. Those children are everywhere. They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a
With
watch
my
beneath our
special
window.
summoning
I have
horn,
only
of
to call
course.
him.
Wiggins,
Hey!
come upstairs, please.
Over here, child.
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins.
Hello,
I
child.
need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating.
Of course.
Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
Sorry to trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll be there shortly.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As
Inspector?
always. What happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Great help.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes, he refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Do you have his shoes?
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The
Yes.
constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
A letter.
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
We shall see. If this suspect is indeed guilty, then I might consider giving you some props, as it were.
These are the suspect's belongings. A pen. Nothing unusual about it.
You might think that, Holmes, but you never know.
The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals.
Yes, of course. What size?
Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
9.5, I told you. I said that there would be 9.5, but no one believed me. Alright. Let me confirm this.
These boots match the footprints exactly.
Aha! Indeed.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First condition, all
Yes.
7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
Yes. Very good.
Done.
Oh.
Now I can proceed further.
Aha!
Let us
Yes.
see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
Indeed. There we are. Diddly-doo, diddly-dee. Yes? Good? No? We shall clean it. Clean it even more. No? Clean it. Clean it good, yes?
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
I did as you asked and hid them well, but I beg you to reconsider. And remember our vows. I have done nothing dishonorable for which me. Alright, Mr. Hurtley.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation.
Yes. It is time for your interrogation, Mr. Hurtley.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I
Yes.
would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely. And considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you, but you're not getting any more than that.
Well, we shall see.
Very well. If that's the kind of game you want to play, Mr. Hurtley, prepare to be played. Oh. Oh. An old scar. Oh, there it is. An old scar. A handkerchief with crested tit. I did not know that you were a tit lover, Mr. Hurtley. Plant remains. Interesting. Gardener's hands. Well, Mr. Hurtley. All right.
Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
Is that so? Then why are your boots... They left a footprint there. So...
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Yes.
That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
But it does not disprove that you could have been there. So I would ask you again, Mr. Hurtley.
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
Let's see. Perhaps you're a gardener.
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed
Your hands.
They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
I see. So what did you hide, Mr. Hurtley?
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Yes.
Hide? What are you talking about?
Oh, of course talking about the letter you tried to hide.
I did as you asked, and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Nothing's ever impossible.
You're a smart one. But it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
I will check that, Mr. Hurtley.
We shall see.
That's all for now. Hurtley's stories are false leads, but now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
Hello again, Mrs. Carey.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Really? Well, could I have access to your garden tools, or perhaps you might know someone who does?
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Yes.
Oh, my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
I see.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much. I shall see what's inside.
Let's see what could be hidden here.
A scythe. Yes, very good, excellent. Wooden planks. Ill-fitting plank. There we are. Well, 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 a small wooden box. How very curious.
Let
I
us
shall-
see what is in this box.
I shall try to open it. Aha! I've done it. Let's see what's inside the box. A pile of
A
letters.
bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That
Aha.
is interesting.
Yes. Liam, my dear, you have been so good to me all the time that I have known you. I cannot describe these feelings, but I suppose that they are sinful, and no good can come from them. I fear what might happen. I fear going against God. I thank you for your care, but I cannot leave the man with whom I've been bound by God. It is his divine will, and thus my husband is the cross that I must bear. He makes my life a living hell, but bruises fade, and you must not worry for me. Huh. How very curious, Mrs. Carey. What do you have to say for yourself regarding these very interesting letters?
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I'm afraid I found the letters.
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
All right.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Carey. Let us see here. The missing papers and... where is it? The breaking attempts. Which could mean that Nelligan was looking for his father's papers inside Black Peter's cabin. It explains his presence at the scene of the murder. Yes, very good. What about the missing tin box? There had been a tin box in the cabin, not much larger than a book. Peter Carey had forbidden anyone from touching it. Could that also be related to the break-in attempts? Now, what about no gardener? Swift action. Peter Carey was armed with his knife, but he did not have time to use it. The murderer acted quickly and instinctively. No. The missing papers. Valuable bond certificates were kept inside the stolen tin box. Which means John Nelligan is a victim of circumstance. He does not fit the portrait of the murderer, either by physical or psychological description. Yes. Judith Carey begins to cry and says that she cannot forgive Hurtley for what he has done, even though she still loves him. Of course, related to Liam, my dear, you have been so good, etc. Could that possibly mean that Liam Hurtley loved Judith Carey so desperately that his jealousy could have provoked him into committing murder? Yes, that is a possibility. Liam Hurtley's letter and Mrs. Carey's confession. Or perhaps it was only harmless flirting. It has been confirmed that Liam Hurtley was flirting with Peter Carey's wife and even fell in love, but it didn't go beyond the affectionate but harmless letters and words. Yes, I think that is the case. That is what happened. Peter Carey was armed with his knife, but did not have time to use it. The murderer acted quickly and instinctively, and pinned Mr. Carey to the wall with a harpoon through the chest, like a butterfly. We need to find out whether an unskilled and untrained man could use a harpoon well enough to kill by fully piercing a body. Yes. Let us also finish our thoughts here. Liam Hurtley's boots match the footprints at Woodman's Lee exactly. But there was also the fact that the claim that there was no gardener, which means Liam Hurtley's boots match the footprints at Woodman's Lee, thus proving that he was there. Judith Carey denies that he was their gardener. Liam Hurtley's relationship with Judith Carey gives him a motive for killing Peter Carey. Hurtley's presence at Woodman's Lee on the night of the murder is explained by his affection toward Judith Carey and the fact that he worked there as a gardener. Yes, I do believe that Hurtley is innocent. For now. No. Several unsuccessful attempts were made to break in, according to the scratches around the lock. No. There we are. Nelligan's notebook. The break-in attempts were made in order to recover the notebook that had been lying in a pool of the victim's blood. This proves the guilt of the person who made the attempts. No, I think that Nelligan was looking for his father's papers inside Black Peter's cabin, which explains his presence at the scene of the murder. Which also means that, once again, Nelligan is a victim of circumstance. He does not fit the portrait of the murderer, either by physical or psychological description. Alright, there we are. Peter Carey had given up smoking a long time ago, but he might still have kept the pouch. Although his wife had not seen it before, she was forbidden to set foot inside the cabin. Yes, that is very true. Alright, time to do a little experiment.
A spot of whaling, Watson. Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
No.
No.
But we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
The sailor's knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible. But if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend.
Well,
what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
no.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish
to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
Yes. I'll see you there, Watson.
That
There we
should
are.
do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I
Yes.
like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Yes.
Holmes, you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
Uh-huh. There we are, and...
Holmes, you should try to aim better and throw as hard as you can.
Yes, thank you, Watson. I shall try to aim better. There we are. Your, tip worked, Watson.
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well,
No.
yes.
Yes.
Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Of course.
I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done,
Very good, Wiggins.
Let me see.
Hugh Pattins, sailor.
This is interesting. Let us review the other sailors now.
James Lancaster, helmsman.
This is interesting.
Peter Cairns, harpooner.
This man is a harpooner, and his
Aha.
initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch.
Aha. Yes. Very interesting.
Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
Yes.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job,
Oh,
Wiggins.
very
Where
good,
is he?
Wiggins.
He lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Excellent. Here is your reward. 2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
Right along now, boy. You're starting to stench up my apartment. So, Peter Carey, who is currently, until the day he died, was not a non-smoker. And we also have Patrick Cairns, a harpooner from the Sea Unicorn, who lives nearby in a cheap room in the suburbs, and can regularly be found in the Sea Witch pub, where he arm wrestles for money and drink. Which means that if the pouch belongs to Patrick Cairns, it indicates his presence at the crime scene, but it must still be proven. Very
If I
well.
wish to speak to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor. Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
I've heard all about the gambling on arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
I start at 10 shillings.
Suits me.
All right. If that's how you want to go, that's fine by me, matey. Follow Patrick Cairns' facial expressions to understand his moves. I couldn't read all of that, you fucking wanker. All right. Oh, hey. There we are. There we are. Come on. You're going down now. Don't try to struggle. It's all over now. Oh. No. Stay down. Stay down, Mr. Cairns, if you know what's good for you. No. Oh, that's a good fight in there. You're fighting a good fight there, Mr. Cairns. Alright. That'll be 10 shillings for me, please.
You were lucky. I wasn't focused. Let's go again.
A golden... a gold earring. Very interesting. Does not match the... cheap clothes of his. Strong hands, yes. Very strong. He likes to dabble in arm wrestling, so... Yellow nails. Oh. A sailor's tattoo. Very well. If that's what it takes.
I'm ready to try again.
Fine. If you want me to take all your money, no problem with that.
Yes. We shall start again. This time, I will give you no quarter. Prepare yourself. I have studied all your moves, all your looks, every single motion you give out. You are going to lose, my friend. Like so.
Well,
There we are.
good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look. Here's your 10 shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink.
Alright, to your health there.
You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Not all that
Well,
much.
some.
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
Is that right? You're saying that you have no job there.
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner. But you see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
Oh, so you're not doing it for the fun of it. You're doing it to pay for your drinks. So you're a harpooner, you say?
A harpooner? Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Of course. It's been a dozen years since I've sailed. I've seen
Right.
everything. Old Wallace, damn Black Peter, Great Roger. We sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
You know, I've heard a little bit about Black Peter.
Black Peter, you say? I've heard rumours about that one.
Aye.
He's the worst of them all. He was a liar and violent too. Swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
Go on. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that over another drink, shall we?
Tell me, and let's have another drink.
Aye.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was
August.
captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was
Aye.
a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she'd foundered, and they made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
Alright, and who was this fellow that you found?
And who was he?
I dunno. During the crossing, he and the skipper enjoyed some long talks. His baggage was just a tin box.
That's strange enough.
Aye. Even stranger was that on the second night, he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. And of course, nobody could ask Black Peter about it.
Right. But you know, don't you?
You know what happened, don't you?
I do. I saw the skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail in the middle of my watch on that dark night. 2 days before we sighted the Shetland lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye. And those that know him wouldn't be surprised to hear it. But all this must stay between us. All right?
Of course.
Right, of course. Alright, I'm going to the toilet now.
Back in a second. I'm off to the Kazi.
I'll be here with my drink.
Alright. You keep drinking that drink of yours. I'm going to put a pouch down
Here
here.
it is.
Whew, that was quite a long piss there I took. So, you got some tobacco there?
Have you got any tobacco? We've run out of mine.
Nah, I lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is
What?
this your tobacco pouch?
Well, oh, it is.
Alright, Kearns. Well, keep in touch.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name. He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners. I'll tell him about you.
Maybe. If you like, aye.
Aye.
I'm done here. It's time to leave.
It's time for me to leave, Mr. Kearns. Alright. Alright, so. Patrick Kane stated that the tobacco pouch belonged to him, which proves that he was at the scene of the murder. And the experiments proved that a similar result with a harpoon can only be achieved with extraordinary strength and/or hard training. Oh. Peter Carey's body was impaled to the wall with a harpoon through the chest, like a butterfly. Oh. Patrick Cairns, a harpooner from the Sea Unicorn, lives nearby. Right, so. Cairns has confirmed that the pouch belongs to him. This means that he was at the scene of the murder, and thus proves his guilt. Yes. Strength experiment and pinned to the wall, which means it requires a much greater strength than that of the average man to be able to pierce a man's chest with a harpoon all the way through to the wall. A degree of skill would most likely be necessary. Two men in cooperation might achieve the same result. There is a remote possibility that an unskilled and untrained man could manage to pin Peter Carey to the wall with a harpoon. No. It requires much greater strength. So, it appears that Patrick Cairns is guilty. Peter Carey was murdered by Patrick Cairns. Cairns is a professional harpooner. His tobacco pouch was found inside Carey's cabin. He is a cold-blooded murderer. He has been found guilty of the murder of Peter Carey and must be punished. Patrick Cairns killed Peter Carey, but his murder was not premeditated. It was in self-defense against an armed and irrational drunken sailor. Yes. So be it.
Good afternoon. I must be at the wrong address. I'd like to speak with a ship's captain, Captain Ahab. Is that you?
No, my name is Sherlock Holmes.
That detective fella? So, you wanted to see me?
That is correct.
Yes, indeed.
We need to talk.
About what?
About
Peter
who was killed
Carey.
in his own hut with a harpoon.
You know, don't ya?
Yes,
How?
the tobacco pouch. You recognized it.
The sailor. It was you.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Well, fine. I confess. But if you really do know everything, you should also know that I didn't want to kill him. He made me do it.
I know.
Yes.
Did you know about this story with the bond certificates? Did you need money?
Yeah. I just wanted him to cough up a little silver. I'm out of work, and I thought maybe he could help me. Well, he refused outright, and he insulted me. I reminded him I knew all about that murder he committed at sea in 1883. Then he got mad when I spoke about his treasure. I barely just had time to throw the harpoon at him before he could jump at me with his knife. You know the truth. What will you do now?
I ask that you return the bond certificates. Keep some of them. You will need them in your exile. It is better that you leave the country for a few years.
And you won't say anything to the police?
I will not say anything
No.
as long as you return the money.
Well, I'll do as you ask. But what about Inspector Lestrade?
I will deal with him. Goodbye.
It's good that you asked me to come, Mr. Holmes. We do need to talk.
About what?
What do you mean? Our case, Mr. Holmes. You sent me a message via your little thug,
His name is Wiggins, Inspector.
telling me that the case is solved. Well, Mr. Holmes, tell me, who is our murderer and where is he?
The morgue.
Eh?
Yes.
His name is, or rather was, Pablo Coventrao. He was also on the ship with Peter Carey, and he was a harpooner. I'll tell you everything, Inspector, but do calm down. Mrs. Hudson will bring us tea and orange cake.
Orange cake? You're spoiling me, Mr. Holmes. That's my favourite.
Yes. Quite.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Inspector Lestrade told me that I should thank you for clearing my name. He also said that you were waiting for me here. I came as fast as I could. I cannot thank you enough. It is all because of you that this nightmare is finally over.
I believe that this belongs to you.
My father's securities. Incredible! But how did you get them?
It would take far too
I
long
found
to
them.
explain.
Tell me, this is extraordinary. You are a genius.
Then that may serve as an explanation. Goodbye, Mr. Nelligan, and good luck.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes. And thank you. 1,000 times thank you.
Yes, yes, yes. Now run along before you start stenching up my apartment. Peter Carey was murdered by Patrick Cairns, a professional harpooner, the only one capable of executing such an accurate throw. His tobacco pouch was found inside Carey's cabin, but the murder was in self-defense against an armed and furious drunken sailor. I had decided to absolve Patrick Cairns.